lot of it wasn't really necessary because it's so detailed and filled out by the writer, by J.C. Yes, there have been a time for survival skills. I've applied a few times in my life. I've had to under tricky situations, but probably on film, the one closest to it would be a film that I made a long time ago, Jeremiah Johnson, which was a character in the wilderness who ran into similar situations as this that he had to deal with, and he had to learn, and so I think that's probably the only research. How do you operate? I was guided by the detailed writing of J.C. as a sailor.
An amazing crew. I mean, we were there for like 3 months before with this experts in marine building it out, and so when Bob came into that environment, it was, we were really ready to kind of try and shelter and bring it in. And by the end, he was sailing that boat in the ocean by himself, literally. So it was this amazing process of him kind of becoming one with the boat in a way, which in the first week of shooting, he's very off kilter. The boat is sinking actively, and so it worked kind of beautifully where his first week of shooting, we were all a little off our balance. And as we got into this very long kind of shoot, for me at least, it felt like we all really kind of grew and became one. In the way we were shooting the film, in the way he was performing, and sometimes you use those things to kind of actually, whether someone is kind of learning as they're going, which is, this guy's not really sailing in this movie, he's sinking, so it really was this sort of improv, and we kind of use that to our strengths.
Mr. Redford, I have a question. You grew up in Southern California, so did you have a relationship throughout your life to the water rather than the mountains?
I can probably tie two things together. Yes, I grew up in Santa Monica, California as a kid, and grew up in a lower working class situation, neighborhood, family, and so the nearest thing to recreation for me was the ocean, because that was nearby, so I spent a lot of time in the water as a kid, surfing, but the time I spent in the water was near the shore. It was surfing or swimming in the ocean or riding waves, but not in the deep sea. And I remember as a little kid, in between going in and out of the water, I would look out. I was 9 and 10 years old. I would look out, and I saw the vast expanse of the sea, and I was hit by how vast it was, and what's out there. This is just a big, it's a lot of water beyond what I'm messing around with. And then I thought, I guess if you keep going, you would go to Japan. And that really got me, the size of the ocean in my head. And then when you're out on the water, what hit me while we were working, I had asked JC when we were preparing, because it was so finely written, it was so sharply detailed, the script, I said, so much of it is storm, so much of it is going to just have to be dealing and grappling with the physical part of the storm. Can you at least have some moments to think, where there's just a moment, there's an impasse or a respite where the character has a moment to just look out and think or just be. In my head was returning to that vast expanse of ocean, as far as you could see, it was endless. And it was horizon endless, but what was underneath you was a vast depth of miles and miles of deep, deep sea. And what does that feel like to be in the middle of almost nowhere, in the middle of the Indian Ocean, on a boat where you look and see the vastness of space and the horizon line, and then miles of water underneath you, and just you. And it was like food for thought.
All right. I was going to ask Robert Redford right here, Bob.
stand up. Here I am. How did you physically prepare for this, if anything? JC said the crew worked for 3 months getting everything ready. Was there anything you put yourself through to do this? And when you look at the movie, what do you see as reflecting back, the biggest challenge in a particular scene or moment that you felt was the toughest thing to do for this film?
There wasn't much preparation, I just went into it. I trusted myself with the water, although I didn't know what was gonna happen in the water. Being thrown overboard and being twisted and turned and so forth. I wasn't afraid of that. There wasn't a lot of time to prepare. The other thing was that JC and the crew had been there and done such a fine job of prepping that with such a low budget, because it is an independent film in a sense, very low budget, which means very little time. They were so well prepared, it was just a ready-to-go situation. All I had to do, which was actually helpful as the actor, was just be in it and go with what came. So no, there was not a lot of research.
He's being a little humble. He's in amazing shape in his normal life, and he swims constantly. So he came into it, you know, it's not like he had to train it. I think it's what he does in his normal life. So he was in I mean, his swimming, all of that swimming, almost, I think there's one shot in the entire film that isn't him, and that is one that is dreadfully dangerous, and the stunt guy shouldn't even have been doing probably, but everything else in water is him. And it's, you know, that was something I wasn't expecting, but he's a wonderful swimmer and comfortable in these claustrophobic kind of, I mean, you know, some of the conditions, we were in these boats.
I think I was comfortable.
Yes. He's a good actor. But it was, you know, most people would have probably excused themselves from some of the especially once we started getting into with all the detritus and the, you know, the way he's swimming through that mast and everything. That, you know, is far more than I ever thought I was gonna get.